Hey everyone, my name's Katie and this is my It Gets Better video. I want my story about what it took for me to get better and how I did get better to be the inspiration. I don't want the actual story about what caused my depression to be such an importance, but I am going to tell that story just so you understand what triggered it and you understand that it really was a mental thing and it really was depression. But like I said, I want my story about how I managed to get through it to be the inspiration, because it truly doesn't matter what necessarily caused it or triggered it. That's not the important thing. The important thing is how people fight it and how people get better. So I want what it took for me to get better to be an inspiration to people to stay strong, and I want that to remind people that it does get better. So I'll quickly just go over my story about how it all started. I was 14, just started high school, and for the first time ever, I had lost someone close to me. It was a family friend who was diagnosed with cancer, and it was terminal. So there was nothing I could do to help him or make him better. All I could do was be there for him and let him know that I still cared. But it killed me because I know that if there was any way I could have taken his place for him or somehow made him better, that I would have done it. And knowing that there's nothing you can do to help somebody you love and care about so much, it's truly heartbreaking. And I would visit him, and every time I went to see him, he looked more sick than the previous time, and you're literally watching somebody slowly die, and that's scary. At any age, it's heartbreaking, it's terrifying, and it's not something you want to experience. But I experienced it, and when he finally passed away, I got very introverted. I kept to myself, I wouldn't talk to people, I pushed everyone away. I literally pushed everybody out of my life. I wanted nothing to do with people. I would have anxiety attacks a lot because I felt so guilty, and I was so angry, and it used to eat me up inside, and I used to freak out at really random times. Like, I would be in class and somebody would say something that would trigger a thought about him, and instantly that anger and that guilt would just eat me up inside, and I would freak out. I would hysterically cry, and I would like hyperventilate and stuff, and I never understood what was going on with me. So I, for whatever reason, decided to cut myself one day, because to me it was a way of punishing myself. When I lost my family friend, I kind of blamed myself for not being there enough. Even though I went to visit him and stuff, I felt like there was still more I could have done. I felt like I just didn't tell him I loved him enough. I didn't have that chance to say a final goodbye, so I felt bad for that, and I just, for whatever reason, felt like he passed away not knowing how much I truly cared, and that just killed me, and it used to eat me up inside. And so when I was cutting myself, I used to feel like I was punishing myself for it, and after I cut myself, I was like, okay, I punished myself, I feel a little bit better now, and that was that. But a friend saw me one day, and I didn't have my sleeves pulled down, so they saw the scars, and convinced me to go to a doctor to get diagnosed, to see what was wrong. and it came back to the conclusion that I was suffering depression. And it was kind of a shock to me because I had never lost somebody close before, so I thought that minus the cutting, maybe everything else was just a natural way of dealing with things. It was natural steps to slowly getting better from that feeling you get when you lose someone, and I thought maybe it was just a natural thing that happened until you were ready to move on. But I guess people seeing my cuts and my scars made them think that obviously something wasn't right, and it turned out I was suffering depression, so that ended up worrying and scaring a lot of people. And I didn't want that. But depression is a mental illness. I couldn't magically prevent it from happening. All I could do was fight to get through it. But when I was 15 and lost my grandfather unexpectedly, I stupidly tried to kill myself. And I say it's a stupid thing because if I had actually succeeded, I would have hurt and disappointed a lot more people. And I would have done that a lot worse than I did by just cutting myself. So it was a good thing that I didn't succeed, because I don't think that I truly wanted to die. I just felt like I was disappointing people and hurting them, and I didn't want to do that. And I was so depressed that I just thought taking the easier way out would be the best way. That's not the truth though. Taking the easy way out and killing yourself is not the answer. So I want people to know that you need to just stay strong, because you can get through it. You're worth something, so don't kill yourself. Just don't. Because people love you and people care and people want you here. So don't kill yourself and hurt those people. And don't end your life when you have so much ahead of you. I feel like just because my story isn't quite as gruesome or sad maybe as others. I mean, my story is completely different than a lot of other people's, and I feel like people spend more time being like, oh, your story isn't even that bad, you never should have gone through depression, you never need to fucking cut yourself. I feel like people just spend so much more time acting like judgmental jerks that they don't have the time of day to look past what the story is about, why you suffer depression, and instead just be like, hey, whatever you went through, whatever caused it, I'm glad you fought for your life, I'm glad you got better, and I'm glad you're still here. I wish more people would be like that though. I wish that instead of people judging and assuming things, they would just be like, I know that you all have a billion different stories, and I don't want to see you hurt, but whatever you've gone through, I'm glad you're still here. Because if people were more like that and less judgmental, I feel like the world would be a better place, and more people would believe that they can get better, because you'd have all that love and support. And I feel like even strangers telling me that they want me to be here and they care enough that they'll message me and be like, hey, stay alive please, you can do this. Even strangers every once in a while doing it makes a world of difference to me. So I feel like if people stop hating so much and just are positive towards others, that maybe people would be better and the world in general would be a better place. So, once in a while, instead of asking what somebody's story is, to turn around and say, oh, it's not even that bad, try saying something like, I'm glad you're still here. I'm happy you fought for your life, and I'm really glad you're better. Because a few positive words can go a long way. And you don't want to be one of those people who say something horribly rude to find out that what you said to somebody was the last straw for them, and it's the reason they killed themselves or cut themselves. You don't want to be that person. How would you feel if you just judged someone or said something hateful that caused somebody to finally kill themselves, or to cut themselves, or to do something dangerous to themselves? Why would you want to be that person? Why would you not want to be that person who said, I don't care what your story is, I'm glad you're here? Think about that, because positivity, it goes a long way. And it makes for great changes, which is a lot better than negativity and hate that leads to horrible situations. So, here are my scars and cuts. I'm still trying to get over the cutting thing. I'm a lot better now than I used to be, but I'm still bad for cutting, because when I feel really guilty or really angry, I go back to cutting, because that's all I know. That's all I ever knew, and how to deal with those emotions. So I'm looking for a better way to deal with them. And I want anybody who cuts themselves to find a better way to deal with those emotions. If you're someone like me who could never afford therapy or medication, don't feel like cutting is the only other way to deal with all those feelings, because it's not. I know, I took the stupid route when I was a teenager, and I don't want other people to do that, because you deserve a healthier way of getting better. So, it really doesn't matter what you're going through. I want you to all know that you're beautiful in your own way, and you're strong, so you can get through whatever it is that you're going through right now. It does get better.